go grab something,
Yes.
and you were like,
I
I'm
came
dying for water.
For the meeting that we had yesterday for
Uh-huh.
the parent involvement,
The healthy future.
Yes, I remember.
that was really good.
I'm Maria Hernandez. I'm 8th grade science teacher, and I'm also the science instructor.
I'm Valerie Machado-Martinez. I'm the instructional coach.
Okay. I'm Galyean, and I met these ladies. They helped me with my focus study. I'm instructional technology, and I'm also English language arts department head now.
And she's getting her graduate degree in administration.
I don't either.
Okay. So that's why we're being videotaped today is one of our class projects. But
It won't go public.
yeah, it won't.
Yeah.
I didn't do my hair.
I don't even know what I was gonna do.
Okay, guys, what we're going to do is we have a couple of things on the agenda. We're going to kind of go one by one. The very first thing that, well, before I get started, let me have them introduce. We had all the parents introduce, and these are awesome parents. We had them introduce themselves, and they had tutorials, so that's why they were running a little bit late. Ms. Morales, will you introduce yourself and just tell them what you teach? And
I am 7th grade math. I have almost all of it. And I've been teaching for 8 years.
Doing 8th grade social studies. Been here for 15 years. I taught Ms. Benitez's 2 daughters,
No, it was 3. Jerry,
Gary and
Crystal, and Carmen. On head.
And now I have
Carlos.
Carlos.
very good. So you know our parents. Okay. So this is, I don't know, do you know the other 2 parents? Do you guys recognize? You guys want to introduce yourself one more time?
Diana Morano Baez and Genevieve Baez.
Yes.
They're doing good. They're very good at walking. They're very good.
And this is Miss Aldana, and she's our community member right now, but her daughter did go here last year. So, but
My
now.
son
Yes.
Angel, maybe you
Angel.
And Sabrina
And
Saldana.
Sabrina.
I had to
Okay, there's some things that we need to go over as a CCOM committee and to make some decisions on, and we have parents and teachers help us make the decisions. First of all, though, I need to tell you guys we are a Title I school. So what is a Title I school? If you turn to the next page in your handout, Title I, there's 2 types of Title I programs, and this is a federal program. We are what's called a school-wide program, okay? We are not the targeted assisted program. So if you want to circle it or whatever you want to do to let you know, this is the kind of program we are. We're school-wide, which means we have 40% poverty or greater. We get funds from the federal government to improve the overall, it's on that page right there, Mike. It's on the back of, yes, there you go. We get funds to help improve our academic because we do have a higher than 40% poverty, okay? We also annually develop a school-wide plan. What our school-wide plan is, that is the campus improvement plan. And this is something that we put together. The teachers help us throughout the year with using data. And then this is how we have to show how we're spending our money. And we're going to go back to this here in a little while. But we have to have a campus improvement plan, okay? We have to have school-wide reform strategies and how we're going to improve. We have to have highly qualified professional staff, which means every single person that we hire has to be certified to teach the area that we have asked them or hired them to teach on our campus. And we are 100% certified, so we're good. We need to have strategies for increasing parental involvement. We have to have plans from facilitate transition from preschool to elementary, and our district does that. Even though we're middle school, our district does that, and we do transition from elementary to middle school, and then middle school to high school. Like in a few weeks, all of our middle school kids, 8th graders, are going to go visit high school. Okay, so we do have those transition. And last night we had our counselors took everybody to Memorial High School for the college night. Now, measures for including teacher input to improve student performance in the overall instructional program. We have the teachers are participating in that, and the provision of assistance to struggling students. So those are like tutoring programs after school or Saturday schools and all those kind of things. So this is what a Title I school is. Do y'all kind of understand what it is? It's just we get money because we have a high level of poverty students here, over 40%, and so therefore we get money, but there's certain ways you have to spend it. Okay? If you turn it over to the back, one of the things is that we are held accountable. And the state target in the state of Texas, this is not federal, this is the state of Texas. In the state of Texas, they have 4 indexes. And you can see that the state has a target number for every index that you have to meet. Well, if you look at REN from 14 to 15, index 1, we got 60 exactly, we met that one. Index 2, the state target was 28, and we got 36. Index 3 was the target was 27, and we had 37. And the index 4 was 13, and we had 14. So you can see that index 4 is going to be one of our areas that we're going to really, really strive to improve next year because we barely passed that one. Okay, so those are one of the areas that we're going to, and that's post-secondary readiness. And I believe that is the one where the students have to score level 2, final level 2, which is not just passing, it's the second level on 2 or more tests. Okay, and so our numbers weren't great at that. Okay, the next part of the next graph you see, and I was really excited because I got to change the numbers today, so I had to print y'all a new one because we got the final data, and it is a big improvement in some areas, in some areas it's not, but keeping to the positive, we're really excited about our ELL students. We are what's called a focus school because you become a focus school when the state of, when this is federal. When all of our students are performing at a certain level and there's a gap between a population, a certain population, like our special ed population and in our case, our special ed and our ELL, they are too far away. There's a gigantic gap in how everybody's doing overall on the campus versus how certain groups are doing. And if you look at this, we've shown you the federal standard for reading in 2015 was 83%. This is what the state said, the federal government said every school should be at, okay? So we didn't meet the federal government. We had all of our students, we got 69% overall in reading. And that was our 7th and 8th graders because remember, we didn't have 6th graders last year. We had 7th and 8th graders. Now our special ed population, there's a gigantic gap. You can see they scored 31%, but our ELL scored 61%. Below is the year prior. So you can see that we improved except for in special ed. So you can see we went from 65 to 69%, and we went from 34 to 31% in special ed, and then we went from 53 to 61. So you can see we are targeting our ELL students and the English language learners. We are targeting them by using strategies and having professional development in those areas. So it did increase. Now we did target our special ed, but apparently what we were doing wasn't working. Okay, so we have changed several of the processes, and we'll get that into our campus improvement on this in a little while. Now math, again, the target federal standard was 83%. Now all students here, we had 65%. So you can see a difference because the state says we have to get 60% in order to meet standards, and the federal government says we have to get 83%. So their standards are a lot higher, okay, than the state of Texas. Now here we had, for math, we had an overall of 65% passing. In the previous year it was 62, so we did increase. Our special ed went from 28% to 26%, which went down, but our ELLs in math really did well. They went from 58% to 70% passing. So whatever we're doing for the ELLs, we've got to look and see what we can do for the special ed, and that's what we're targeting. We're still targeting our ELLs, which are our English language learners, and we are targeting our special ed. So what we do is we look at all this data, and then we come up with a plan with the teachers and the administrators and talk to different people about what we can do to improve the services that we're providing special ed and the services that we're providing our ELL students. Do you guys have any questions about any of the data? We gotta figure it out for special ed, but we will. Okay, we will definitely figure it out. And this year, in special ed as well, last year the test changed for everything. It was no longer, you know how we had, it wasn't STAR, but, and then it became STAR, it was what? TOPS, whatever. And then so, with special education, last year, they went from taking what was called STAR M to STAR A. So they changed their test in every subject overall. It was a different format. That could have lent itself to not understanding a little bit of it. The STAR A and the STAR Alt were both brand new. So we did see a big drop in those students, whether they passed or not. It was harder, it was different than the STAR M that they had previously taken. Not that it's a gigantic difference, but we did feel it in our results. Interventions to improve academic achievement is the next thing on here. And so you see, what have we done to target these? And I think that we've come up with extended day tutorials where our core content area teachers, it's 1 hour a week, and they either can divide it into 30 minutes a day or 30 minutes 2 times a week, or they can either have an hour. So those are, we're doing the extended day tutorials to help our students. We are having very focused, they're called focused special ed and ELL, where our special ed teachers and our ELL teachers get actually 2 hours a week right now to help improve and continue to work this so they can target them a little bit better. Okay, so that's the intervention for the special ed and the ELL. They get a total of 2 hours so they can work with the students more so.
ELO, would that only be Ms. Russell's?
Yes. And this comes from the focus money grant, because being a focus school, you get extra money for just specifically that. So our special ed teachers and Ms. Vasquez are working with our ELL students, the ones that are the lowest, which are the ones that, there's another test called the TELPUS. And those students, you're rated from beginning to intermediate to advanced high. And so she's working with the lowest, which means maybe they're not understanding the language. They're not understanding the English language, and that's why they're having difficulty on this test. So she's taking those students and working with them. We have a designated Saturday school once a month. We're designating part of the funds specifically to special ed teachers and to our ELL teacher, so that way she can actually target those students in a language lab. And we can target the special ed students with different types of strategy versus, like if it's gonna be math, then they go and they work on math that day, okay? If it's science, now hopefully when it becomes 8th grade science, those teachers will just follow them into y'all's program, their Saturday school. You know, so, but they're with them so that one-on-one small group in a big setting. The next thing on the list, guys, is R&E. We do a 30-minute in-house tutorial every day around lunchtime for every grade. And there's specific lessons that go out and things that we have to get done. There's technology that we do with them. There is, with 8th grade, we do science and social studies, depending on the week. With 7th grade, we do reading or writing, and with 6th grade, we do reading, okay? We don't do a lot of math, and this is because it's very hard to teach the math that the teachers teach. And I don't want people teaching them shortcuts and things that are not gonna be helpful, because our teachers are teaching them what to do, yes, a certain strategy, why it's being done, and I don't want a ding dong like me coming in saying, oh, you just add and you carry, and that's not even the terminology they use anymore, So we stay away from the math, only because I'm afraid that one of us is gonna mess it up, and it'll be very difficult to teach, because the things they teach these days are not the things that we
One of them, the math is very advanced for the way we used to do it.
Right, and it's advanced in the terminology they use. It's not the old terminology that we used to use, and so we kind of keep it in the safe hands of the math teachers. The next thing on the list is Super Saturdays. We were talking about that. We are getting a language lab for the ELL, so we'll have computers, and we're trying to get the program a language program for our students to be able to, that way they can hear it, they can learn to speak it at a faster rate than they are learning at this time. We also have professional development for teachers. Now, based on our needs, and you'll see it in here, the professional development to focus on the ELL students, we are having what's called sheltered instruction. And these are strategies that they can use to help us to help our ELL students. In other words, give me some of the strategies, guys. One of them is having the students always answer complete sentences, so they use the academic language every time. And instead of saying, yeah, no, the answer to the multiplication problem was, da, 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 da. What else, some of that?
I don't know what to do with certain phrases, certain questions they have to ask to get more information, so it's just like, I don't know.
They can't say, I don't know. They have to say, y'all tell them what, like phone a friend or.
Friend, or can I get more information, or can it be repeated? A question that they ask either the teacher or someone in their group to get more clarification.
So we just don't accept, I don't know. Well, and
But
some other
also,
ones.
they randomize how they call out students, especially if you have an ELL student who's hesitant to answer. If you have everybody, if you have an app that has everybody in the classroom, you can do a random selector and it'll throw different names up on the screen. Or like something I do is if you're wearing a khaki or wearing khaki pants today, stand up and then start eliminating. Okay, now who's the oldest? Now you're gonna answer this one. And then you can also, after, in case they are stuck, you can use like what she was saying, say, if you don't know, now you can ask a friend to help you, but I still wanna hear from you. That way everybody's like
And
100%.
to rephrase it, they still have to pay attention to what the other person's saying, and then put it in their own words.
So trying to get 100% participation from everybody instead of, those 3 or 4 that want to answer all the time. And you understand what they know, but we don't know. The quiet ones are not answering. We don't know what they know. So these are some of the strategies that we do have professional development. And they're research-based, and they show that they work with ELL and socioeconomically low students. Inclusion training for special ed teachers and paraprofessionals. We will be also having inclusion training, which is how do our special ed teachers better help our students when they're in their classrooms, and we have support going into the classroom, so how can they better help them in the classroom in that setting? How do we plan with the teacher? How do we help the students? And so all of our paraprofessionals and our special ed teachers will be coached, and there'll be somebody coming here and coaching them how to do it. Content area trainings and consultants. We have social studies, we have science, we have different people that come in and help us in the different content areas as well. Do you guys have any questions about being a focus school? They gave us approximately, because we scored, because of the gap, they gave us like 16,000, and they said, now how are you gonna use it? And you have to put it in your plan and say, I'm gonna target specifically the special ed students by doing this. And I'm gonna target the ELL students by specifically doing this for them. And then how am I gonna help the teachers help those students? So there's 2 different little, parts of it. And so that's what we decided as a team, is this is how we're gonna help, and it's gonna be most beneficial. One important thing, guys, is that we do have to approve or okay our extracurricular activities. And so athletics is a UIL, and our UIL academics, those are both non-negotiables. Those just happen. But we do have, every year we have different clubs that come up, and this year we have some new clubs that have been added to the list. And so we want to say if these are all approved, if we all approve them or not, and it's kind of just a consensus saying yes. They've all turned in some type of mission statement. They've all turned in that this is what we're going to do, this is how many, this is what our kids are going to do, this is the purpose of the group. And so these are the different ones. Of course, we have band and cheerleading and pep squad. We have chess club, robotics. We have a student government. Now we have student government, which is 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade this year. We have NJHS. We have a science club, which Miss Hernandez. I was going to say Miss Luna, but Miss Luna's there with them. So Miss Hernandez is one of our science club. We have Spanish club with Mr. Streppel. We have yearbook with Miss Galyean. And the yearbook is going to get better this year. Yay! Our first one last year was kind of, okay, what are we doing? but we figured it out, so now it'll be much better. We have an art club, we have one at Play and Drama Club. This year, Mr. Dan Koss, one of our sixth grade teachers, is having a skateboarding club. Now, the skateboarding is not actually skateboarding, they're learning how to build skateboards, they're learning how to take their skateboards apart, they're learning the history. They are learning techniques, but there's no actual physical here on campus. And then we also are having a wrestling, which our Mr. Stowe, he's doing wrestling with the kids. And the athletic department has donated this. How big is it, sir? It's giant.
The mat,
The mat is
Massive.
gigantic.
it's probably maybe 20 by 30. It's huge.
Yes, and he's got 20 kids in there, and they are so excited about wrestling, and he teaches them techniques, and we did get parents to sign permission
And
for
has it
waiver.
started
and
already?
They've started meeting, cause they went and got the mat this weekend.
Like,
So-
that's mentioned, if he hasn't brought in permission.
Make sure he brings one, cause once we approve it officially, then we can actually get everything completely going, but he's got a lot, yeah. And he's got a good following, and the kids are really excited. It didn't start, but just recently, he just got the mat and got, things donated from. It's in the portable back there, behind the parking lot.
Oh,
They put the mat out there in the old locker. But it's, and if you know Mr. Stokes, he's like, okay.
And then when you said wrestling, I just.
Yeah, and that's what he did, so, but he started coaching now, but he's not coaching at this time, so he's helping you integrate lessons for the kids. So if everybody agrees and we're okay with all these clubs, then I'd like to present and say, is everybody in agreement that these are all okay? Do you have questions about any of them?
Okay, I have one. So, like, let's say, are the kids, they're not limited to one club or anything like that?
No, you're not limited. Now, I know sometimes they have to make a decision based on if they're occurring on the same day, then they have to choose one or the other, but we don't limit it.
Cause I know cheers basically every day, so my daughter has, even if she wants, she has to make a choice, either
Mhm.
cheers, because cheers is every day, Monday through Friday. That's how it's been until 6 every day. So when you're in cheers, you're in cheers, you're in church.
And all the other clubs, even if the kids are in athletics practices don't tend to start till 4:30, so the kids still have time to go to the club meetings.
They have a whole meeting, but
Right,
they
they'll
still
go
do.
to most of the meeting and then they'll go off. So there is, time built in for tutoring, if your student needs tutoring, and for clubs if they want to be in clubs.
Okay, and not throwing myself back, but there was a question I was gonna ask a while ago about this, which is a Super Saturday. Now, the Super Saturdays, are those mandatory, or can anybody come?
There's different Saturdays, and so we send out, if it's a certain grade level, like math, 7th grade math is hosting 7th grade, then they're gonna send out invitations. I am all, to students that need help on whatever they're gonna be working on, specific texts, whatever objectives are for that, Saturday, they're gonna be working on it. So they will send out invitations to kids that are low in those areas for them to come. We also send out invitations for, like, if you have poor attendance, those students have to come to the Saturday school. And then there's one more group that I'm not remembering. Who am I not remembering? Those are our ELLs have to come, and our special ed students have to come. And then our attendance kids. Now, if you want your child to come, all you need to say is, hey, I saw there's a Saturday school, can my child come? And that's not a problem, but we can't guarantee it'll be targeted to his learning needs specifically. Does that make sense?
Yes, and it does, because, well, mine, he's advanced reading, but he's having issues, correct? Both the teachers are late.
January 30th will be our first one.
Yeah.
So you can sign it, you can sign him up for that.
Right. So for science we do, he's gonna get a tutoring letter tomorrow. So we target each kid with what TC need help with. And then in January, we'll already have the entire first semester worth of data. So we look at what we're gonna do that Saturday. It's usually 4 teachers, and we break it up into 4 different lessons, and they're hands-on, they're experiments and things like that. And we will invite the kids who we feel are mandatory, but it's also open to the other kids who are not mandatory. and we average about 80 kids per Saturday school for just science.
Because
Just for eighth grade science.
Just for 8th grade science.
yeah, because mine is kind of like, he gets into something, maybe not, he won't do the groups. I mean, y'all know him. He's real shy and stuff like that, he's kind of like in the corner half the time. But when he focuses on something, there's good stuff on it. You know, like, let's say reading, it'll be reading this, or let's say it'll be math, or whatever, and then he kind of like, he'll back off the other subjects. So when I got his, how was it? Oh, yeah, when I, oh, the report card. So, okay, it's not where I'm worried, but I mean, like, okay, there's what's going on here. So, you know, that was something that was discussed last night with him, and I said, okay, so he's supposed to be staying with Mr. Mariano, or he's supposed to be going to tutoring already, you know, and I told, he said, okay, I'm doing it. And then, took him on one time, what happened? You know, so,
You know, he's picked up his grade already. That last time we talked to him, something changed. So
Oh, yeah.
And I find Carlos to be really good at group work. He's not the shy kid in the corner at all.
Yeah, well,
Got you full of them.
no, he goes in the corner when I'm around because he knows that if he comes out of it, he knows he's gonna have to deal with me later, but, usually, I mean, that's the way I've usually seen a lot of good teachers before. And this year, it's kind of like, what we've seen is he's kind of opened up a little more, and we haven't seen him. He's kind of opened up, and he wants to be like a clown, and he wants to be the one that stands out or something. I guess because he's in 8th grade. I don't know. I mean, he's kind of like trying to bring him down a notch, but he keeps like, Mom! I'm like,
He's getting into something.
I don't know if you haven't invited him, okay, and he's 8 in your class. And I don't know why, but both my kids' lowest grades are in science. 7th and 8th grade science. I don't know what stuff in science or
They need-
if
you
it's
need to-
STEM.
I
Now,
send
we
a progress
need to-
report every 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks, I send a progress report. You've probably seen it from
Oh, yeah.
Carlos. I send one with Andres. It has all their grades. It has what they have in it if they turn it in, or it'll have an M if it's missing. I think it'll say missing. And I can tell you right now with Andres, he hasn't done a science fair. And his excuse is, my partner's been absent. I'm like, but I told you when you picked a partner, you were gonna have to do it either way. So I know because I just had that conversation with him yesterday. He's like, well, what do I need to do? Science fair. Okay, but then what do I need to do? You just need to do science fair and then you'll be okay.
There you go.
He's passing all his classes except science. And then with my daughter also, she has she has ABs, but she has like a 70 in her science.
That
as
might be
well.
the same problem, because all the
But
kids
with
are in
her-
science this time.
And that's an issue with my 7th grader. She's saying that she's in all the classes that are the bad classes. And that her teachers are telling her, you know, in art, and Miss Williams, and Miss Garcia, and it's getting to where I'm like, okay, how is that your fault? Because she's saying that in all her classes, her teachers are upset and mad because all the other kids are acting up, and the whole class is getting it.
I'll look at our schedule and see what.
And I told her, I was
She's in my phone group.
you have a bad class too, right?
Yeah, I
And it's
do.
all her
And-
classes. And I'm like, she
And I-
had 6th grade academy, and it was like that, and now she's had 7th grade, and I'm like, you know what, that's not fair. I mean, I know life isn't fair, but it's not right because I know she could
Yeah.
be doing way better, and I also know
And,
she's.
and seventh grade, and I can be honest with you, seventh
Oh,
grade
yeah.
is overall is a tough group. I
Mhm.
mean, they're a different, you know,
But
they're a
it's
different
upsetting
group
because-
than the 8th graders or the 6th
Because she had it
graders
hard
and-
last year, and she's having it
Right,
again.
and there's just some really challenging
Oh, yeah.
behaviors, and, but I can tell you this, our teachers are on it now, our administrators are on it, we're in there, we're helping, you know, it's difficult, that's a
Yeah.
difficult group, and that's all I can say is
And that's
overall,
what I told her
it's a
too, because
difficult.
we just had the same
It's just-
conversation last night.
She was born in the year of this is the group, you can see the wave, you know, there's a wave of kids that come.
It happens like
And-
once every 4 years.
Yeah, you know,
And I
and
told her,
it's
I was
just,
like, do you
it's,
want me to change your classes? And she's like, her and my son were like, you can't, whatever you do, it doesn't matter, you can't change it. And I was like, they're everywhere, and I'm like, so what, so that's the way it is? I mean, it's.
no, it'll
And
get
I've,
better,
I've
it'll
looked
get
at
better.
her schedule to move her out of my 4th, and I've already moved 4 out of my 4th that I couldn't. But the ones that I couldn't because of the English blocks, I really can't move
That's
lot
what
of
she
us
was
get
saying
stuck
too.
in that
She
too.
was like, Mom, but I like her in pre AP classes, and she has an A and a
And
B
that-
in
and
it.
that's why-
And that's why I don't wanna mess with this either.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I understand that, but it's still kind of upsetting having to hear her come home and be like, Mom, you know, the teacher had a bad, and then she was also telling me that teachers are getting overwhelmed. And I understand that because I have 4 and I'm overwhelmed, so I can imagine, you know, what y'all have to deal with.
Yeah.
But it's hard because, last year she had issues also with, 6th grade academy, everybody had it. So she also went to the doctor for her headaches too, because it was really bad over there. And I just don't want it to come back.
Yeah. I can tell you all the teachers are really fine. Everybody here is really, we're on it, we're trying, so we're hoping. It takes a while, but
Yeah.
we're hoping
And
to
I
get
know
them
there's still time.
in the
still
RIN
early.
group.
I'm just like, it's kind of frustrating having to hear her, like,
Yeah, I
go
understand.
through it, so.
Okay, so these are things, let's go back to extracurricular really fast. Does everybody agree that these are clubs that are okay and you have no questions about and we're good to go with?
The only one is, there's not a parent club in there.
That's the
She made a face like, oh no.
You're one of my parents.
Okay, I forgot also that they have Girl Scouts. We need to add Girl Scouts on here. Do y'all see any that I missed?
You said chess, they're doing chess again?
We're doing chess, yes.
Mr. Gunter did it last
Mr.
year,
Pearson and Mr. Gunter are doing it together.
and they haven't started it?
No, they
Not
haven't
yet.
started it, not yet.
Because my son was in it last year also, when he went to tournaments too, and he really enjoyed it. He wasn't sure because of funds and 6th graders being back, if they
No,
were gonna go.
no,
through with
yes.
it. So that's good.
We're excited, yes. So, okay, well, if everybody agrees, then we'll put them in as agreed and we'll be all good to go. The next part is the campus improvement plan, and we're not gonna go through the entire thing. There's some things that we are required to go through and that I want your input. And so that's this document here. And, the very first one is, each one of you go through, you can see, and it's kind of, the easiest way to go through this, guys, is just to flip it up. It just like, have it in front of you and flip up because it's front to back and it's, Now you can see on page 3 of 28 is the table of contents, and this is a goal for everything. So we have a goal for academic achievement, we have a goal for interventions, we have a goal for parent engagement, we have a goal for everything. What I want you to first to go to is page 13, that's for our parent engagement. And this is the piece where you guys want to pitch in because this is a working document where we can change it at any time. Our strategies here for, on page 13, it talks about the different strategies to increase ways and opportunities to communicate with parents, okay? This is just basically the communication, monthly opportunities to communicate with parents. There's another goal in here another objective that talks about different things. This one here is just communication. Now, we have parents will be provided information from teachers, principal, and parent liaison during parent conferences, coffee with the principal, parent workshops, and family nights at school. Is there anything else that you guys want us to add as far as those kind of things? Parent conferences, like our progress report pickups, how we have those.
We have parent night.
We had parent night, we had, like the art extravaganza and the Spanish night, the milkshakes, those kind of things. Those are the kind of things, and then there's one where, Miss Amanda now is, Miss Galyean updates our web, pages with the academic information to communicate. Where are we at with all of our teachers getting their web page up and running?
The SchoolWars is the system that we use to upload the teachers with their web pages and where they can put in assignments, they can put in extra information that they need. The problem is that they've changed it and they continue to change it. Especially at the beginning of the year, we get very overwhelmed, the teachers do, with must-have documents and certain deadlines, and they all seem to hit about the same time. And so, what we did last Friday, or 2 Fridays ago, when we had our early out, is that we had a personal development for the teachers as far as technology goes. And one of the sessions that was covered was helping teachers get their web pages started. It is a longer process than it could seem, because they have to go in, they can upload their documents, their files, with all the other paperwork they have, it seems like sometimes this takes the back burner, even though for parents this is an important link. So we're working on it, but it's not where it needs to be. And I know that I've talked to Ms. Saldana, and it's a little bit different when I met with you ladies last time about trying to get up a RIN Facebook. And so that's in the process. I'm working on that. We're working with Marvin Jimenez, who's part of the EISD Facebook, and he's part of our public relations. And so actually ran into him this weekend out and about, and he's going to help me try to figure out who has the RIN Facebook and try to get them to deactivate it because there's two that are out there, and because it's
They don't belong
not,
to any of us.
they don't belong to anybody that we know, and they post random things on there. And so we do update, like today I updated the RIN website itself, so announcements are coming up, the calendars are being updated. As far as teacher websites, they're trying, they're getting there. But the majority of your information is gonna come from just the main website for RIN itself until they get those, they can get a chance to update those. Because it takes a while, and the format that if, say, a teacher's been here, like Coach Ariano's been here for a couple of years, 15 years. Ms. Hernandez has been here for quite a while, and so what they had initially set up, and they had their web pages great, has been whacked out because it's a new system. And so just getting the time to be able to train them and show them, because of the way that it's set up is just a tedious task that we're working on. It's just not where it needs to be yet. So.
You've been here for 15 years.
Well, I'm 15, but Stafford 16. So I grew up.
Well, Jerry just turned 27.
Now you know.
Was it 15 years there, 16 years? No.
We were event 15, one at Stafford, and then before that I was in Kansas 2 years.
Other things that we encourage parents to use is like for communication is the Parent Connect. We also have the marquee out in the front. We have Miss Salas always uses the phone messenger all the time to send out any information. Y'all love her voice.
Sometimes I live in the bathroom.
To help with testing dates, any of those kind of things. She does a newsletter every month now, and we put information. She shares information with Amanda, and they post it on the website. And she actually, participates in making home visits and then all sorts of things. Was there anything else that communication-wise that you guys think that we could work on or help? There's in the back. There's a few more.
Go over the Spanish.
One of the things that I, when I met with them last, is on the parent night, having a Spanish only parent night, is trying to try that and possibly even doing parent classes for like parental education, just on how like school vocabulary. So when they try to come to talk to a teacher, they don't know what jargon to use, and so trying to help them be educated as far as how the school functions, to where they feel comfortable talking to a teacher, because parent night isn't always the best venue for that, because not all teachers speak Spanish, or they feel pressured because there's a long line behind them, and so that's something we could
I
possibly
remember
work
you
on.
bring that, yes. Got that. So I'll try to add something. I'll try to figure out a way to word it and add it in here as another excuse
But
me.
it's like Ms. Galyean had suggested the last time, that was a really good idea. The parents that we need more the communication in Spanish, the best way, translation, it would be better for them to set up, parent conferences with the teachers that their children need help in. And we're like, so that way it would be something like,
For translating.
yeah, like, I forgot. the name.
Yeah, because when you, when I'm moving, you can look
Right,
for somebody
and you have
available,
to-
like, the
Right.
parents, they can speak both languages, can be, okay, they need help, we can do the help, and that way we can explain to the parents that speak, Spanish, what's going on with the child, maybe we, like us, help the same,
So it
whatever
could be like
they-
parent
yeah,
volunteers
exactly.
that speak.
Yeah.
Because we noticed when we got had the progress report pickups,
Mhm.
that we had to come and pick up and go to each classroom the line wasn't moving, not because they were taking too long, but because the parents didn't know how to communicate with the teacher because teachers didn't speak Spanish. And a lot of
So
parents
they
spoke
didn't have
Spanish, so
something.
they were trying to like, they weren't understanding, they were trying to talk to us, they couldn't understand it. And the student was there just like, and I was looking at them like, help your mother out. And I didn't want to jump in because I didn't want them to feel like, step back. I don't know. I don't want to interfere. Like, I don't want to step over. Because I know it's like, personal when
Yeah.
the student is talking, the teacher's talking to the parent about the student. So I don't want to jump into it. So,
Oh, no, don't worry about it. Maybe what we could do is instead of the parents going to each individual teacher, they could go meet with the department, and maybe every 5-10 minutes we'll do a presentation, because at least every department has at least one Spanish speaker, and they can be there, to translate and to set up those conferences. Because even with our English speaking parents, we don't have time to actually meet with them. We still have to set up conferences. So maybe if there was a meeting point for each department, then we could have a translator as well as the teachers to discuss with everyone and then set up those meetings then.
Maybe set it up more like a round robin,
Kind of
kind of
round robin,
like,
yeah.
at
You'll be
this
at science at
time,
this
you'll be
time,
at
yeah.
science at this time, at this time, you'll be with math at this time, so like that, all the teachers will together and it's easier to communicate.
Because when we had that parent night, I saw the teachers were doing good, very respectful and everything, trying to explain to the parents very well. The teachers weren't the issue. Now, I was very, very close, and I'm usually very respectful. I like to kid around, but I'm usually very respectful, and I was very, very close on telling one of the parents to stop and get out out of the way, because she was telling her son very rudely in front of the teacher, very, very disrespected her, very ugly. The teacher was trying to talk to her. The teacher was good. It was just that mother. Well, I feel like when we look at you, if you really want to know how your child is doing, then why don't you come to the meetings? Why don't you come and see how he's doing in class and in school or something? Because this lady was yelling at this, young boy, and I know who the young boy is, and I know the mother and everything, and I know the teachers, but I'm not going to put it all out there. The thing is, her son is very respectful, and he's very good in the majority of his classes. He has, whatever, he's smart, but that mother was just, well, you should even,
So maybe her idea would work, that way there wouldn't be,
right, because
they could sign up for a time and then rotate, that way they
because
hear
in that class,
the important information
there
that
was
can go on.
maybe, I was like three people away, and there were still people lined up, and a lot of those parents, even in the Spanish speaking parents were like, ¿qué fregados haciendo? Like, but it was, I know that little boy, whatever, and I just didn't see it. It's like, it goes back to what you were saying, the privacy, okay? But if I know I'm gonna have issues, that if I'm gonna go speak to one of y'all about Carlos, and then you're gonna say, well, Miss Benavides, Carlos is not, I'm like, okay, and I'd be like, okay, can I make an appointment?
Right.
But some of the parents don't realize they wanna take care of it right then and there,
Right.
because they don't wanna come again.
Right.
And that's a lot of the problem with a lot of the parents, they don't wanna come again because they're already here.
Yeah, because in my perspective, I've been coming and being, helping out in school since my kids were little, and stuff like that. But you all, and I have to really commend y'all, are doing a very good job. I've seen a lot of differences between when Carlos came into 6th grade and now he's doing 8th. You all are more organized and you all are more involved in the student and parent communication and goals and stuff like that. Y'all are doing good. But it's not y'all that need, okay, you all have goals because you have things, policies and procedures that you have to go through. But I'm sorry to say, but there's really, we gave a lot of ideas last year when we were the entire ambassadors. We got a lot of ideas, is that correct? But it's just, we couldn't get the parents, and that's just the problem.
Is there anything, cause that's one of our next objectives,
Got
is
it.
how do we give them opportunities, so Danya.
Yeah. The parents need to have some classes because I know there are some parents that there's somebody wrong. I have to learn to be understandable. I learn what my parents know, but I'm pretty sure sometimes there is something else to be able to help our kids. So I don't know what kind the classes we can bring the parents to see. You learn that kind of debate, but you can learn this to help your life, your child, your school. If you don't teach the head of the house how he help the child, how he's gonna change? There's no way.
They keep following the same.
But they have to, but they have to want to.
They have to want to.
You know.
Maybe
Sometimes
give
we
these-
wanna be better for our children, but
just
we
don't
don't
know
know how to do that stuff.
Because I know that one thing that we mentioned last time is have more activities or more meetings that, like, okay, okay, what happens, you get a free dress pass for the child, right, when we come to a meeting or something, is that correct? Okay, but the kid's like, Mom, go because I don't wanna dress out. Okay, well, if you want that free dress pass, not only does the parent have to go to the meeting, so does the child.
I know this is more like, I
But
know
my daughter
elementary wise,
Use her dress up.
Oh,
Like she's
no,
earned them.
she
and she's
doesn't,
like,
and
she's like, I don't want to dress
she
up.
doesn't want hornet bucks either.
And I'm
I've
like,
tried
"Jenny,
getting them to her, and she
she's
doesn't want them.
so.
yeah, mine stacks up his free dress pass.
I mean, she's a great student
Yeah.
and she's like, she does good at
But
everything.
she doesn't need the motivation. See, those are things that we try to motivate students,
But I'm like,
external
baby,
motivation.
you know, you're a cheat. Like for
Uh-huh.
Friday's birthday, she's like, I don't like wearing hair. I'm like, you're a cheaters. You know, put on your uniform. She's like,
Yeah, because I have another parent too that comes to Mercedes, and her son doesn't get a dress pass. One day it's
and they have them. She gets them. She just like,
Yeah.
So
Carlos
how
the
can
same
we
thing.
recruit, how do you guys think, because I think it's a really good idea to have parent classes and not to teach you how to be, but like you said, like how to help your child be
Can't-
successful.
Okay, cause like elementary, I'll just say from my point of view with my daughter being at Lamar Park. Cause I actually have my child in the district, even though I don't live in the district. They do have math nights, they do have science nights, it takes work. But on those nights, we can take advantage and do maybe a 30-minute session of showing them, okay, these are websites you can go to help your child, but also have an activity after the meeting for the parent to actually do something with the child.
and that's what kind of be incorporated as well.
And I was gonna say, 'cause they do that, they had math and science night last week at Lamar Park. I know that's extra work, and so it's extra work, but once you have the Saturday done, you can always manipulate your activity to fit whatever you're doing that 9 weeks.
And then if I can, I'm sorry, Mrs. Benavides, sorry.
One
I'm-
of our assistant principals.
I know that when I was at Loma Park, we used to have it to where, you could, and I don't know, cause I think they said that we couldn't do raffles anymore. Okay.
No more raffles.
That's true.
What,
Yeah,
what,
they-
what if we, cause I know back then, you would pick out somebody at random and they would win a prize. But the student and the parent had to be, had to actually be there for
Right.
X number of time and had to do X number of sessions before they got something.
Yeah, like we do the passport, so the
Yeah.
parents had to see 4 out of the 6 teachers
Yes.
that the child has.
But then you just give them a free dress code pass, because
Right.
there is, you can't do any work, right? You can't do
Well, last time we
anything
got,
monetary, is that what it is?
It's not like, you can't do raffles, so you can't pay money for, but these are drawings.
Door
So these are door prizes basically, because you participated and so you get your name in the drawing. It's not money, raffles are where I'm
Yeah,
giving you
the
a
issue
dollar
with
to
the
buy a
raffle is
ticket.
that you're not getting
You know.
anything.
So you can, so you can still do door prizes.
Yes, we can still do door prizes,
They
that's
just can't
not a
have
problem.
exchange their money for. the
Yeah,
prize
so
and
they
the-
can, participation is
Participation.
there, is
Oh,
the
the way
way
we did it with Miss Adams, where we did the passport, where you
Right.
sign to enter.
yeah.
So it's something like that, so where we get to start having like a math night, a social studies night, things like that, where the parents come in specifically to see social studies teachers.
Yeah.
And you do
I
social
would like
studies
to see something
activities.
else also instead of like rewarding with Hornet bucks or a free dress pass, because like my daughter doesn't use the Hornet
Mhm.
bucks or the free dress pass. But I also feel like she's does deserve something, you know? If she's not gonna use her Hornet bus, and she's not gonna, also she said that she doesn't get taken to the Hornet bus store, that's probably why, another reason why she doesn't want the Hornet bus.
She went.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've only done it once, though.
We've only done it once.
We've only done it once.
And we
It's
did
only
it last-
once
yeah,
every
she
9
said
We
she
did
weeks.
it last, we did it last Friday, but she didn't have any. I
But
think
they
she
didn't
had.
have the, they weren't selling, she wanted to buy the VIP for the dance.
No, we did.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, we
Because
did.
No,
but
they
it's
only
only
she
limited,
went, she said they
limited
didn't have
amount.
They didn't have
Oh,
it.
they
Yeah.
didn't have any more.
Yeah, there was only a certain amount, and so when the kids came through,
And then her.
but it was
one
like
of the
8th
classes I
graders
went
came
late,
through,
right?
6th
But we
graders.
also
They
have-
have
fine art.
Yeah.
But we also have other opportunities turn up, like in 2 weeks we have pancakes with the principal.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah,
I-
we have
In my
those
class-
kind of things.
In my office, the incentives that she can sign up for.
Yeah,
that's
so
what
we'll
we-
be presenting those and selling those. So we did
Yeah.
things like basketball with compost, and I
Yes.
think, what did we do?
We're doing,
Lily.
like, auctions.
There was, wasn't it caroling with one?
Caroling.
Karaoke.
Karaoke, oh my god.
No, she's doing caroling in December in the halls with
I remember,
Oh,
okay.
I remember
Yeah.
paying here with you, so
Yes.
that's what I was thinking.
So they
stuff
can
like
start
that.
buying, and then, also we're gonna try to sell it to where basketball
Yeah.
games.
Yeah, because
They
a
can
lot
get
of the
into
kids,
basketball games
that's
with
what
their
we're
Hornet
doing.
bucks,
Right.
The
you know,
Hornet
those
bucks?
kind of things.
A lot of the kids in this past corner store, what was the majority of things that what? Were for the raffle
Yeah.
and for the dance, for the games, because I was here. I was here.
She was
I-
helping us check.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
games,
I've been here.
we're trying to give passes where 10 Hornet bucks will buy you, you know, so we're giving up
And
$1,
they're
we're
doing a
taking
Hornet
it.
bus also that, where they give so many, they can eat at the Hornet's Nest.
Yes.
They're
That-
implementing.
Well,
that.
we're
Well,
gonna
that's-
change that a little bit because that's not
Working.
Because they were able, because a lot
Oh,
of the kids are like,
no.
Miss, are you gonna get us Hornet bucks today? Because we get to go eat at the Hornet's Nest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
if
they
they
really
were.
did like
Well,
that,
it's
but
been,
so
it's
it's
been
not.
working out, it was just that one time where we had that specific number of kids.
Well, and,
Certain fiddles or students.
yeah.
So we had that discussion with them too today, to let them know that guys, we tried this out yesterday to give you this chance to prove yourselves. You guys didn't, take advantage of it. So from now on, this is, the criteria that you have to meet. But at least, we gave those students a taste of what it is to be out there, instead of them
Something
not
to look
ever
forward to.
knowing, right? Them not ever knowing what it is to be out there, now they know it, and if they wanna go and be a part of that,
They have to work a little bit harder to get it.
so there's a reason to admand this, but,
Well, that's good to you.
And another
know.
thing we had, talked about maybe was kind of like maybe doing a competition between 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders to see who gets the most parents here, and maybe we'll reward them with a
Yeah.
ice cream
Snow
treat
cones or,
something like
you know,
that.
something like that. Then the grade level that has the most parents attend the night, then we can do that. So that's good incorporation.
Well, thank you very much.
Go meet Dennis.
Thank you.
I
Are you
gave
making
up.
me dinner too? You making me dinner too?
We're having lemon pepper chicken with mashed potatoes and corn.
Yeah, I'll be there.
But thank you, like I said, all y'all, I've seen you, and the teachers, so y'all are doing a very good job and stuff, and thank you.
You don't want to get a big.
I know.
But, I mean, this year, we are having a lot more parents, because she's pushing it very hard as well, and I've seen that. She's calling me, I don't know why,
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I
you,
see y'all,
Sweetest.
if not, I'll call you tomorrow, I'll bring.
I just want to acknowledge that as well, my son came here for 6th, 7th, and 8th, and I didn't know what was going on for 6th grade, because I didn't get anything, and last year,
For 2 years, we have struggled. We've gone
and
through
this
like
year,
five
Ms. Salas has been
parent
on it,
liaisons.
on it,
I want
and,
to see her.
yeah, no, but it's good, because even if I'm busy, I know, hey, as soon as I get here, I have something else to go to, so, I
She likes to
like
stay
it.
busy.
I need to stay busy. So I'm busy like from 6 in the morning till like 1, 2 in the morning again. So I'm busy all day, I keep busy. And,
We appreciate it. We love her too. So we don't wanna lose her.
yeah.
So we try to bring her snacks.
Give her another cookie.
Yes.
Another cookie.
Let's go. Okay, the next part of it, guys, is that's a parent. Do you guys have any more to add to? And I can change this and add the information that you suggested to the parent involvement pieces. The next part is the opportunities that's increasing opportunities for involvement and increased awareness of learning resources that can be used at home. That's part of this as well. The last part, guys, is the professional development for highly qualified teachers, and that is, let me go back to the, there's two parts left, yes, page 21, okay. Page 21, and I went over most of these as we were talking earlier about the focus, and so, it's actually, you go to objective 2. Objective 2 says we required staff to attend a targeted professional development provided by the campus, the district, and those are things like champs for the classroom, content area trainings. We have special programs where our special education teachers and our ELL teachers go to specific trainings for their populations. We also provide PD coaching, modeling, and materials to address differentiated instruction for our ELL and special education folks. This is what we were talking about earlier when we talked about the special education teachers and paraprofessionals attending, and the ELL, the sheltered instruction coming here, okay? Basically, the rest of them, it says administration, we're gonna conduct walkthroughs that ensure SPED, migrant, and SPED students are receiving appropriate instruction, which means we're placing them in the right classes through their schedule. That new teachers will be assigned a mentor, and that all faculty will do instructional rounds at least 4 times during the school year. And instructional rounds is something where we say, these are the 3 problems that we're having at our campus and how are we gonna address them. And then we actually go and hold each other accountable by going through the classrooms and doing walkthroughs as a group, teachers included, and we go through and say, okay, was there evidence that we're actually doing these things that we said we're doing? So that's basically what that is. Do you guys have any questions about the professional? It's all targeted to the needs of the students and what we need as a campus to improve student achievement. The last portion is, I'm very excited that Miss Amanda's gonna share the technology portion, and what page is that on?
Page 20.
Page 20? And you can tell me that one.
Since the 6th grade academy is no longer the 6th grade academy, we actually inherited 6 what we call cows, and they're computers on wheels. Let's say it wrong every time. Carts on wheels. They're computers on wheels, and she had to tell me what it was. I was like, I don't know why they call them a cow. And she's like, computer on wheels. I was like, that makes so much sense. Okay. I felt really smart. But what we were able to do is that each one of the carts has approximately 25 to 27 laptops. And so I can wheel a cart into a classroom where we don't have room to have actual computer labs. We're able to put a computer lab essentially into a teacher's classroom. That way it doesn't take up wall space. Some of the rooms are very small, some of them are very large. And so this puts the computer on the student's desk, and they're able to use that for instruction. We also have 5 iPad carts. We also have a Fuse program that's used through the algebra students for 8th grade. So they're actually issued an iPad to take home. They have those really nice OtterBox cases, so if they drop them, it doesn't shatter. And they're waterproof and all of those things. So we inherited quite a bit from the 6th grade academy on top of what we already had. Now the good thing is that we were able to actually accumulate even more this year because of the federal funding that we were talking about. Because we are a focused school, the federal grant money that we have to help get our ELLs where they need to be, and also with our special ed, we're able to put these into the classrooms, and they're doing programs like iStation and the Achieve 3000, and the teachers are able to use them. The students are so technology driven, they have apps for everything, or they are on the internet looking for things. And so what we're trying to do essentially is to flip the classroom a little bit more. And in our objective it says to increase technology that supports students and faculty and staff by 20%, and I think that we've exceeded that, honestly. I'm always pushing carts somewhere. They look like the Vegas like money box things that they're pushing. Yeah, I feel like I'm on like Ocean's 11 or something. but it feels like there's that much money in those. But the kids love them. They're very responsible with them, and especially for junior high, it made me a little bit nervous. But they're very responsible with them. They like to use them, and they see it kind of as an incentive. One of the teachers actually told me today, she said, "Can you please take this out of my room because they won't stop asking me if we get to use them today." So they get excited about it, and so we are, with the money we're getting this year, because of the federal funding, we're getting to buy 2 more laptop carts. So we'll actually have 8 on campus, and then we have a couple of mini carts. Some of the older ones that we had, we're keeping as mini carts, like with 15 on them for some of the smaller classes. We're also have some in the ESL room that we're passing down some of the older ones because we have to be specific with where we put these. They have to be in the content areas. And so we're doing that. I'm excited about it. Any questions on those so far?
Are we gonna get dedicated, carts, either iPad or computers per department?
You just have to keep requesting them.
Because we have other programs that we have to pull. For instance, we have It's Your Game, the sex education class. Right now it's 6th grade. In January it moves to 7th grade. When that comes in, I have to pull every single cart because the mass that we're pulling from, we want to pull from electives instead of core classes so students aren't missing essential learning. And so when we're doing that, we're pulling them and we're putting them like in the gym. Now once we get the portables situated and we get the teachers moved out, then we'll be able to set up the other computer labs, things like that, and work from there. But for now, we're not able to do that because we have to pull every single resource. And that's just what we're building for, what we're hoping to do is I've worked with Ms. Cannon, we put together usually a 5-year plan on how to keep getting this federal money to next year buy 2 more iPad carts and then the next year buy 2 more laptop carts. We'd like to get there.
Our goal is to get there. Eventually to say, science, here's 3 carts, that JAWS, use them as you know what I'm saying? Okay, math, here's 3 carts or 4 carts. The problem is too, is the shelf life of technology. We got, like, all the teachers got laptops a few years ago. Well, they're already crashing, so you're having to replace those, so it's a never ending, keeping updated, and to keeping the machines working. So, technology is great, but it's also a pain because you can't keep up with the time. As soon as you buy it, it's no longer the hottest thing. Yes, they've already updated it. Do you guys have any questions? Are you done? I'm sorry.
The teachers are also getting laptops. All the core teachers, meaning if they teach a core content, science, social studies, math, English, they're getting laptops instead of desktops because they save space, and they're getting docking stations. So essentially, they put their laptop in this station, and it turns into a desktop computer. Does that make sense? So we're trying to use our money the best we can and the wisest we can, so we can get more hands-on with the students instead of the teachers. That makes sense.
And the laptops that the teachers had will now be pushed down to try to create carts.
More carts for
more
students.
carts for the students.
And those laptops are pieces, right?
Yes.
So when we have the parents that they come visit you, do they have access to like technology there?
We have
Besides-
1 computer station, that's always available to them. We set up this computer station just for the parents.
Can they ever come here? Like,
Is the library?
like, do they have, I don't know what
The
the
only
schedule
thing,
is like.
Pretty tight.
yeah.
Until we get the portables.
Until we get the
Right.
portables, because we have classes going.
Oh, okay.
So maybe adding like another, maybe like an iPad or 2 or something like that?
You don't have an iPad?
I have 1 iPad
For your-
for me,
yeah.
but not.
Okay, you should have a few more. Where they are, I don't know. After going through 3.
Yeah.
3 to 4. So we'll look at that if we'll
Yeah.
write that down.
Maybe that'll
Also,
help with
I-
parents coming in.
Right, and I also just remembered, we don't have like a general login for parents, like if they
Okay.
have to use, the computer, I have to log in.
Okay, so that's a good one, so we can get a parent
Also,
login.
I have a question, y'all don't do volunteer IDs or like, I know this is my 3rd year with Edgewood, but when I was at SAISD, and that's when from pre-K to 5th grade, and they would just do once a year, like you would do the,
Like the
The
student
application.
you do the application, and once you qualify, they would give you, not as nice as those, but it would be so we would have to,
Every day.
right, every day,
Clock in and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
We'll
It's
look
easier
into
access to
it.
come in and
Yeah.
out because, I'm just saying because it's
Sorry,
already.
can maybe tell me you wanted a badge?
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Maybe I'm black. You tell me you wanted
Yeah, it was a yellow one when I
Yeah.
was at,
Yeah.
but that was like 3 years ago, and it was at the CISD. So I was just wondering if y'all do that, or have ever done that?
Last year, I think they did.
They didn't have it
But
here.
then, like I
They
said,
never
I
gave us
didn't, this
anything.
is my first time actually being this involved.
Because
honestly.
because they scan your license every time.
Yeah,
They have
and
it.
like today, like thankfully it was after school, so nobody, I mean, there were somebody that let me in, but, I left the studio really quick from working out, and I left my whole wallet there. So I'm driving without a driving license.
We're gonna call
I
it.
know. I called my instructor, I was like, can you please get my wallet, it's on my purse, so but I need to go get it, but I'm saying like, also, you know,
Like a badge, like a volunteer. Yeah, like a
badge.
volunteer badge. Well, I'll look into it, that's not
Even
a
if you
problem.
had some that just said, well,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, we'll look at
Yeah, one with like our picture ID on it.
Yeah.
that way,
Alright, does anybody have any questions? That's all that I have. That's all that I have for the information. Now, this is information that as CCOG members, that has to be shared with parents and with everybody and to have input on. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you would like to have input on at this time?
Can I just suggest some places that Miss, Salas can call? Girls Inc. and, YWCA used to have, like parenting classes.
Yes,
In
they're
English
actually
and
part of
Spanish.
our, I think they're authorized to.
Yes.
To come in.
To come in.
Good, BCFS.
Them too. You just have to, I just have to call and make contact with them.
Cause I have all of their information and I can just send
But
it your
the
way.
Girls Inc., I don't think I've
It's
seen it
just
on our
for
list.
it's just for the mothers and their daughters, and they do certain things, like certain things together.
Sort of like the Damas.
Kind of like damas,
I
yeah,
love that one.
yeah. And then I just
I
need
know
to
we're
find
gonna do
something
damas.
for the guys. I used to have a friend who would do, for the boys, and their dads. I used to have a friend who would do it, but he moved out of town, so I just need to find something.
Yeah, I knew this one because when Mr. Golf left,
Or the bow tie club.
yes, my son was like, and he loved both sides of that.
What is that?
The bow tie club is he taught them like etiquette
And he would bring like a bow for them every time, a tie, teach them how to put on a tie, and they would have like,
I wanna make nice.
well,
It was,
neither do I.
but it was a guy and he was teaching him like male etiquette. You know,
He's the
like,
principal.
and
He's the principal
open
now at
doors
Henry B.
or how to be a gentleman.
Like a gentleman.
He's the principal now at Henry B.
And then, yes, and then you also, he would teach them how to wear the different
But they
ties,
also
not
bake,
just bow
they
ties,
also
but.
bake cookies too.
Oh,
My son
yeah.
did that too. They separate them and they sold them and they sold out. I remember I was upset because I wanted to buy a cookie and they were sold out.
Yeah, so those are fun things that you do to earn money to buy things, and I know that like he got things donated, like the bow ties and stuff. But having a male etiquette and a female etiquette for the kids would be nice.
Yeah. So I'll send you what I have.
Okay, yes.
All right, guys, that's it. Do you guys have any questions? Anybody want cookies?